And guys, please go ahead and mute by yourself if someone was not unmuted, got unmuted for any of the reasons. Please, I think it's right. Thank you. Okay, and so all my
आपने जो
guys, please. Right. Okay, so all the controllers supports audio by itself, and so the controllers, all the audio will have the high resolution audio. So high resolution audio in the sense it can play in 24-bit and 192 kilohertz, right? So we are gonna talk more about that as well. And so that is the reason most of our controllers we named it as a EA controllers, except the entry level control. Right. Thank you. Okay. So except our CA level controllers, all the EA controllers can play audio directly from the controller itself. So it has the audio DSP built in, op-amp built in, audio streaming services, everything will be available from the controller itself. So that's why the name of the controller itself, we say it is an entertainment and automation controller. So, and we are very much focused on the audio side as well. Okay. So just for an example, so we support all the streaming services available around. So Pandora, Tidal, Deezer, maybe TuneIn, Amazon Music, and particularly to India. So we have some of the local drivers which can work for India as well. So we have a third-party developer who has developed some drivers as well for mainly in the radio stations and also streaming services as and the native streaming services that TuneIn will be available from Control 4, and we are working with Amazon, and also there are some of leading music service provider as well in India. They are focused on, so we are working on with them as well. So we'll get most of the things will be added into our Control 4 platform. And of course, the Spotify has launched in India, so we have the Spotify support also Spotify also can be played through the controller. Okay, so these all these services are very much available from the controller itself. I think my audio is clear, so just once of the clarity side. So I think thank you. Right. Right. So we say we play audio in MQA. So just to go beyond that, so I'll just have a just a few slides on which talks about MQA. So the main reason is what is MQA? So most of us we are very much worried. What is MQA? Why is the audio resolution? And the main MQA, the main thing is like it's a master quality authenticated, which means whatever the recorded, which is recorded in the theaters, the same quality of the audio performance in your home. So that is what the main focus of MQA is. And there are a lot many things around MQA. So some of them go well with the MQA, like some of the album distributors, they were very much good to go with the MQA, and some of them were not to go with the MQA, so they were very much restricted on their audio. Why do we give the quality to a third party organization? All those things were around. Okay, so right, so there's certainly it gonna come in. So uh, most of the album makers gonna go with MQA in generally. So how does MQA normally works? So they just as long as like how the your mic audio, all these things go into your line level, and in between, so you will definitely have a MQA codec which can actually convert your audio, and where they say as a lossless target. So which means definitely there is nothing called lossless in generally in any of the audio, video, any of the solution. Definitely you need encryption and decryption in generally, which means the conversion happens. But yeah, so they try to bring it as great as what it was actually the recorded quality is. So that is what the main thing about MQA is basically. So right, and most of the album brands already started doing, which means they are partnering with the MQA, like Warner Music or Sony Music, all those things. And definitely in Indian categories, so Sony is targeting very much on MQA. At present, actually, we have very much lesser of the albums which can play on the MQA quality. I think it's very rare. So there are a lot many things around it, but it's actually the future proof, which means definitely gonna be coming in. So most of them will be coming in 1 or 2 years. So almost you'll have everything in MQA. So that's what MQA or maybe the very relevant to MQA. So in that high level categories of the audio signals. Right. So at present, MQA very much available from Tidal Masters. So I think Tidal is not available in India. So in case if you have any US VPN or account which is registered with you, so definitely can download. And there are some of the albums, which means your pop albums or maybe the English albums. Most of them actually available for download in MQA. You can actually do download it from some of the downloadable websites, and you can add it and you can play in MQA as well. Definitely, there is a lot of difference between your normal streaming audio resolution and your MQA resolution. So you can definitely feel in. So when you can listen it, so that's what the main thing is, right? So what will be the difference? Why it is considered to be superior, or why it is they say it is a more of MQA? The main reason is the audio bit rate, what it actually plays. Okay, so if it says high resolution itself, actually about like 4,500 kbps in that range. I think very few albums in India right now in our language music albums available in that category. But when you have the same quality which is with your MQA, so it is actually more than that. So which means it can play in 24 bits and 192 kilohertz, which means you can imagine the quality and the difference of the audio. And definitely the bandwidth which actually takes for the to play that audio also going to be a different thing, right? So just to give a small comparison of the audio, so like maybe what is the normal audio resolution right now we are listening in your all your online sources available, like maybe if I have Amazon Music or maybe YouTube Music, the maximum quality right now what we are actually playing in is like 44 kilohertz, right? So which is of 16 bit. So you can just imagine into like 4 or 6 of your 44 kilohertz with the 24 bits of the audio quality. So right now maximum we have is CD quality. Even the DVD itself we are struggling it to, like even the hi-fi audio itself not coming in much, but we do support hi-fi, which means high fidelity audios, and also your MQA authenticated, where it can play in a high resolution of 192 kilohertz 24 bits. Okay, and in our home automation segments, I think Control 4 is actually the first company to introduce this into our entire channels for the system integrators or the home automation guys. So normally what we'll say, we do control, we do audio, but we don't actually consider about the audio quality, or we'll say it is to be with the separate listen or the audio companies in generally. Okay, so what we have done is we have actually worked most of with the MQA and most of the albums, most of the online streaming services which provide the audio in the same MQA quality, and we worked with them and we actually made it available through almost in most of our controllers, where it can play in the same quality of the audio, right? So it gives you a value added service to your customers.
Just to highlight today, MQA is directly streamable into a controller, provided you have an MQA content, or you can directly stream using Tidal as a subscription, or we can also support Cubers as a subscription. With this two service providers, direct streaming is supported, or if you have a local downloaded content, we can still stream in with the 192 kilohertz and 24-bit ratio.
So this will be like a value added service for your customers, what you are right now serving. So, or maybe you can add it into as a service where I can play in high quality, right? And I can download and I can play. So, and I can even check my audio quality from the user interface of the control for itself, whether it is playing in the same high resolution, what is the content quality which is available. Right. Okay, so that's actually mainly about the audio quality, mainly the MQA what we are actually talking about, right? So most of our control for audio products, we actually named it as a triad. So triad mainly for their audio expertise, and also it is just not the speaker company. So they were like very much audio engineering guys, where they do most of the handcrafted thing, and they are one of the founding members for CDR. They work closely with Dolby Atmos. They design the theaters. So there is lot many stories around Triad in generally. So they are very good deep guys in audio. So we wanted to have their expertise into the control for platform. So just give them as a pride. Like, so most of our audio products, like your audio metric switch, the amplifier, all those things will be available and named as a Triad. So it is again a control for one company, right? So great about the Triad is, so most of the speakers are custom made and on request. and it's all based on the request and custom design. We will talk about the speaker categories and other things, what is the advantages, everything in detail, definitely. So we're going to talk about that also in deeper. So right now we are going to focus on mainly the audio products of the triad. So what we are actually talking about, right? When it comes to audio, right? So we always say when it is actually like a sorrow feeling or maybe a happy feeling, whatever it comes in. So music is like blended with your bowl as blood, right? So we wanted to enjoy anything with the music. So even it is like a sad moment or maybe a happy moment or party. So everything music is always there. So that is what the main thing about. So music is mixed with anyone's life in generally, right? So it is like a universal truth of a music. So it is actually cross cultural. So you really don't have to worry about the language, what it's the music, it can actually heal you, right? And it's loved by everyone, and just it is very hard to believe that we cannot listen. For example, if I cannot listen to music for a day or maybe listen to music for a month, so it will be like a different world altogether, right? So music is like a feeling, so anyone can actually feel the music. So that's how it actually uh, gone with most of us, right? So it is right. Everyone actually have the preference of the music, but of course, but it is about music. So that's what uh, all about the music actually, right? So since it is loved by everyone, it is listened by everyone. Everyone have their preferences. Since all has to be about the music, so the technology available for music, it is actually available to access in any of the devices, right? So maybe your mobile phone, iPod. So a lot many things available, right? So technology but at the same time, so if you are actually having a portable device, there is a lot of things available for the music to carry, but it is the same feeling, like, so when I have a great music with the great speaker or maybe the great audio device which plays, there is no difference about the music, and there is no much a difference feeling. But when I have a device which can ruin my feeling, so you will definitely not listen to music. So we'll always say that it is better not to listen with the music. It depends on the quality, right? So if it is playing in the low quality, so it is better to not to play in the low quality, so that can actually destroy your entire feeling. So that's where actually what we have done is we wanted to have that high quality music in any of your room. So that is what we actually wanted to bring it, that quality in your even in your entire home, right? So even people who are listening in the headphones, or maybe with the quality what they're getting from the headphones or the audio which is playing from their mobile, but they are not able to get the same thing in their like multi-room audio, maybe the stereo audio. So that really makes it a lot of difference for the peoples to listen. That is where we found that as actually a opportunity, and we wanted to get that into, we wanted to deliver that into most of our system integrators or the dealers, and same can be delivered to the customer, so where they can say this is really a great music. So that's what we found it as an opportunity. That's what we are actually delivering the experience as you said, right? So that is what it's all about, right? So and if you look into Control 4, so we are very much earlier in itself, from maybe the second series of from the controller itself, we are very much into the audio also, right? So we wanted to add most of the online streaming services, your USB streaming, or NAS streaming into the controller itself. It can play most of your uh, it can play most of your audio files. So that's what we actually outstand from the others. So that actually we found it as a opportunity, and we are keep on improving that and delivering the same quality. So because when it comes to audio, the things are changing every now and then, right? So previously, if you see, very much we are concentrated on the storage devices for the musics and the video files. But nowadays, no one actually worries about the storage and other things. So directly, I'll go in, I'll select my favorite, and it's just gonna play it. So we just pay my premium. I'll just gonna continue it. Like maybe I'm playing it from Ghana or any of the music services. We just wanted to add that streaming services to our controllers. That's what it's all about. Someone,
So
please
the
go ahead.
actually what we have today is like the controller is no longer just a controller. It's also an audio device where it can stream the songs from directly to from the cloud platform, whichever is like Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, or whatever. Or if we have something on a NAS or a pen drive, every controller can take a pen drive. Controller can take up to 1 TB of NAS. If we have a song, we can also scan it, metadata it, and start playing in. The other beauty of the controller is like you will have a FLAC file or a LAC file. All these high-end file formats will be directly streamed into the controller. You don't need to worry about down compressing because we accept all the ratios of the file formats. That's the other beauty of it. And some controllers have multiple outputs. For example, a EF1 can do one stream, a EF3 can do three streams, EF5 can do five streams. The other advantage, like as the technology improves, all my controller has an AirPlay inside. So if you have an Apple phone, you can just directly cast your music from your Apple phone into a controller, and the same thing will be played on the speakers, vice versa. So that's the added advantage of music streaming inside a controller. Mutham, go ahead.
So, so that's actually the control for expertise on the audio. So we wanted to deliver the same which means a phenomenal sound to all our, even from the basic room to a theater. So that's what our main intention is. So on this category, so we are actually adding all our audio products and two as name it as a triad, so that we are very much so just to make ourselves we are very much sure on the audio, very much clear on the audio side as well, right? So we are very much serious on the audio. So our focus on the primary side, so our multi-room audio devices, all our multi-room audio devices should support the high quality audio, what is actually the content is meant for. So that's what we are actually going to deliver into all our audio metrics devices, amplifiers, speakers, which supports, it all has to be the same series, right? So if I just have a source with a high quality, and if I does not have my audio metric switch in between devices which does not play in my high quality, then it does not really make any difference. So that is where we are actually into, and we wanted to actually give the same experience to all our customers. So that's what our main focus in here, right? So to start with, most of our multi-room audio products, like so the main thing is triad quality. So what is the quality we are actually going to play in? It's gonna play in 108 dB of the dynamic range, and the audio quality it supports is 24-bit up to 192 kilohertz, and it has very minimal harmonic distortion. So it's 0.005 percentage of the harmonic distortion. Normally, if you compare or buy any normal amplifiers, we always say check the specs, don't check the inputs and outputs. Okay, so we can make any amplifier with the number of inputs and outputs. It does not make much difference unless you have the quality what is actually built for. So that is where our difference is, right? Because in normally, if most of the standard matrix amplifiers, what happens is matrix amplifier or the matrix switches, it plays in like a very low dynamic range, and the audio quality is much like a CD quality, so not greater than that. So and it has 0.3% of the harmonic distortion. So where it'll be just like playing something in a flat, right? So that's where the triad differentiate from ourselves on the audio metrics devices. Like we play in high resolution in each and every room. So that's what it's all about, right? And our audio metrics devices, which is audio metrics switch, which is available. It's actually a line input, line output devices. It has 8x8 and 8x 24x24 series, and we have multiple options to cascade and other things as well. So if it take 8x8, it has 8 inputs, and all our audio metric switches not only have the analog input, not only have the stereo line level input, and it also have the digital coaxial or the fiber link inputs as well into our audio metric switches. And if I say 8x8, which means 8 input to 8 output, and if I say 24 cross 24, it is 24 input and 24 output. So and in 24 cross 24, we have 8 digital inputs which can be played in digital or fiber optic, any of the audio links basically, right? So to talk more in detail, so we have not only have the analog inputs, we have the toast link and also coaxial digital audio inputs into our audio metric switches, and it can be IP controlled from control 4 only. So at present, not open for any other third-party controllers. And also there is a 12-volt trigger which can be triggered to turn your power amplifier on. Maybe if your power amplifier is in power saving mode, it can be used to turn it on and turn it off. And it comes in a compact size. 8x8 is in one rack unit size, and then 24x24 is at the two rack unit size basically, right? And it's all actually the input and output devices. We're going to talk about what is that input and output in general, and the features from the control for composer, what you can actually get it through. So for the triad speakers, we have actually done a presets saved by ourselves. So you can select just the preset. Maybe if I'm selecting a Scenic Silver or Bronze or maybe any of the Triad series speakers, we fine-tuned it to make it better. So you can just select the presets. And we do have the option to have your own presets. You can actually play around with the parametric equalizer to have the frequency gain, all those things can be done. And all the audiometric switches can be done a mono summing as well. So if I wanted to make it only as a mono, which means a single channel, I can actually do that as well. And also the loudness and the balance audio control, you can actually do that as well from the audiometric switches. And one of the another advantages with the audiometric switches, we have done something called 2.1 zone grouping. Okay, so nowadays it becomes very common. Maybe for example, maybe in my bedroom or maybe in my living room, I prefer something with the bass, right? Maybe with along with the subwoofer. So this audiometric switch can give you a 2.1 output when I combine two zones together. For example, 6 zones, I'll be using it for my stereo audio. Maybe the 7th and the 8th zones, I wanted to use it for as I said 2.1. You can actually use it. Like you just need to go into settings and you need to select which zone output you are actually grouping it as a 2.1 audio zone. So it's as easy as just like selecting the settings. So, so that is actually about the audiometric switches, what we have and what all the features it can actually support. And the next thing is if the high resolution audio, right? So high resolution audio, to support that, we have the power amplifier as well. So the power amplifier available in two series. One is 4-zone and also the 8-zone amplifier. Maybe if I'm going for a 8-zone audiometric switch, I can go for 8-zone power amplifier. Or maybe if I wanted to go for a 24 cross 24, if you have 24 zones of the audio, you can actually have as a like you can have like a 24 cross 24 audiometric switch and then 3 power amplifiers. So that's what it is all about. And all this power amplifier comes in one rack unit size, and also it is it supports audio bridging as well, where I can combine the power amplifier zones and make it as a single zone. Also, as I said, maybe in a couple of sessions earlier, we do support something called global input. For example, if I connect one input, I just need to adjust the dip setting where it can play in all the zones. Maybe if I have the larger area to be playing the same zones, maybe if I have a multi-story apartment or multi-story home, maybe 3-4 floors, I wanted to play same music, like maybe my garden, my indoor passage, all those things will normally play most of the times the same songs. So instead of that cases, what we can do is I'll just connect it to global input, and that global input will be available in all the zones which is available from the power amplifier. It all will play the same songs, which is at the wattage defined, what it can actually support for. Right, and we do have a high, which means a single zone amplifier, a single zone high power amplifier, which can support 200 watts per channel as well. So that is actually the maximum version which can support. It's actually a single zone which can actually support up to 200 watts per channel. Right. So to jumping into more detail about the of the power amplifier. So as I said, so the size of the power amplifier is, it's not just a big power amplifier with the transformers and all those things inside. So it works on a ICE power technology. And all these devices comes with a thermal protection by itself. In case we have over wattage by other devices, it can actually go into thermal protection. And resetting is pretty simple, so it will not actually get reset. You just need to remove the power amplifier or maybe turn off the power amplifier. If your environment is clear to power it up, you can just power it up. It cannot power it on. So that's what the power feature, which means the ICE power technology, which can actually work on, right? And the next thing is the dynamic range. What we play about, it plays about 110 dynamic range, and it has actually the input sensing, which can turn on your zone. Whenever it detects the input, it can play within 2 seconds. So that is actually the great feature of the power amplifier. Right. So that is actually about the power amplifier. So the power amplifier available in 4-zone and 8-zone, and also we have a single zone high resolution power amplifier as well. Right. And the next thing is we call it as a triad one. So which we actually referred as a high resolution streaming zone amplifier, which is called as a streaming zone amplifier. The main reason is, our controller can play audio, right? So we have EA3 or EA5, which can play in 3-zone. EA5 can play up to 5 zones. And for example, I have a customer. I have done a site of 8x8 audiometric switch and the power amplifier. Now, if my customer asks, I want one more zone, instead of adding or changing from your 8-zone to whatever the XN numbers, you can just put this triad one as a streaming amplifier. This can stream all the audio content which is available in the controller via Ethernet, and it gives you output as a 2.1 output. So it is actually a built-in services for your tune in, all those services, how the controller plays, the same thing it can actually also do. And also it supports local audio input as well. Maybe if I have putting nearby TV, I can take the TV audio output and I can connect it to as an input, and I can play it in 2.1 as well in the local audio. So that is actually another great feature of this. And it works on Ethernet or the Wi-Fi. So if it is Wi-Fi, you need to have a better range because audio streaming on Wi-Fi. So you can imagine what is how does it can work actually, right? And to control local devices, it also comes with two IR ports as well. Maybe I can connect it to like a TV or any IR devices which I wanted to control. But most of the TVs nowadays, it's all IP enabled. So it can be integrated, but still we prefer IR in some cases, right? So that is actually the best option to control. Right, so where it can be like a single room audio solution. So I'll just put this and connect it to 2.1 channel speakers, or maybe 2 channel. I can make it as option like stereo option, or maybe a 2.1 option. It can actually gonna play in, right? And just example scenario of the triad one. So this is what I was actually explaining about. So I have 8 zone already connected. So I wanted to add a 9th zone. So I can just put this triad one on the network. So it is going to stream all my controller audio to this as well via Ethernet. So technically, if I'm using a EFI give you audio streams of 5 output, and this triad one can be a 6th streaming outputs. This is actually the only device which actually streams all the controller audio content via Ethernet. So none of the other device actually does from the control flow side. Right, and this actually one of the best solution for your soundbar options basically. So right, so if I have a 2.1 setup, so I can put the soundbar, and it goes very well with the triad soundbar, where it can matches with your veneer finishes, size, depth matching, all those things. And so that is actually about the triad one. And the next, so we talked about the products, right? So how many triad speakers, triad one can be in the system? So we recommend not more than 20 per project. So the main reason is we don't limit anything. The reason is your network switch dependent, because if you have more number of devices, it will gonna stream all your content throughout via your local network switch, right? So if you have a managed switch, you can actually do it more than that as well. So if you have unmanaged switch, you need to think about not more than 20. Right, so the audio distribution side, so we just to give you idea what we are actually still now talking around. So controller audio out, I can take the audio out from the controller and I can connect it to the amplifier, and I can play it to the speakers. If I say something as a power amplifier, so power amplifier series is nothing but it just the amplifier, it just amplifies the audio whatever it goes in and comes out, right? So it does not do any matrixing. So unless your audio, your controller does, or maybe your source, whatever you are giving, it has to do the matrixing. The matrix function will not be there in your power amplifier. Right, so to make it work, what I actually need to do, so I need to have a sources like controllers, all these things which has to be connected to the audio matrix switch. Then from my audio matrix switch, I need to connect it to the power amplifier, and then I gonna play it. So your audio quality, audio depth, and audio presets, everything will happen from your audio matrix switch, and also your audio matrixing and your volume control will happen from your audio matrix switch. And your power amplifier will just act like whenever it gets some source, it's gonna amplify and play it in that particular zone. So that's what the uh, power of your power amplifier basically. So whatever it sends, it plays. That's what it is. Right. And next thing on the controller, we talked about controller can stream the audio, right? So maybe if I have a USB stick, I can play that into the controller. If I take a EA5, it can give you 5 zones. Maybe if I take a EA3, it can give you 3 zones, EA1, which means 1 zone streaming from the USB stick, or maybe the online radio stations like TuneIn, or maybe Spotify, all those things, or maybe ShareBridge. And if I connect them on the network, so maybe if I have a big project, so where I have like a slave controllers or maybe a triad one in the network, even that devices also can stream the songs, stream the audio, whatever you have connected into your main controller. So all the audio will be a two-way. So which means, for example, if I connect something on my smaller controller, slave controller, I can stream into my main controller as well. Or maybe if I connect it to my main controller, I can stream it into my slave controller as well. So all the audios will be available in all the other controllers basically. So your ShareBridge, which means your AirPlay, Spotify, TuneIn, all the music will be available, and that is via Ethernet. So you really don't have to run a physical audio cable from controller to another controller or any of the other devices in the network, right? Or maybe if I add a NAS, even that also will be available throughout the network. Now the next thing is, like, most of the people will ask, can I share my PC? Can I share my PC? Definitely you can share your PC. The main thing is, a lot of times your Microsoft device will keep on upgrading their security protocols. Sometimes if they block your security, definitely you will not be able to share it. So, but if you have the folder access which is shared successfully, definitely you can integrate your music content from your PC as well. But maybe if your olden days PCs, like if you are using like a Windows 7 or something, you don't better use it. So you will not be able to use it basically. So it won't allow you to share because of the security settings. And the best option is, but moreover, if your PC is like, it'll be in the same, you'll not be removing that, or maybe I'm using it for my regular use. So definitely don't use that kind of devices, because you may need to reconnect it sometimes. So all those things will happen. So we always recommend go for a dedicated network storage, or if you are sharing with the PC, just ensure it better to turn off your security updates, but it is not actually the recommended way by Microsoft or any of the voice companies, right? So that's what. So share your PC, but on your own risk. So that's what on the PC side, if you wanted to share it, right? And the Ethernet port available for your audio metric switches, or maybe the audio metrics amplifiers, all those devices, definitely you cannot actually stream the audio via Ethernet port. To play something, what you actually need to do is, you need to take the audio output from your controller or maybe any of the audio streaming devices. You need to connect it as an input to your audio matrix devices. So then it's actually just the input and the output devices. It does not actually stream anything via Ethernet. So maybe if I wanted to play 4-zone audio matrix devices, I can actually need to connect 4 inputs, maybe either from the controller or maybe any of the streaming devices available in the market. So I need to connect it, and then it will be available. And also the controller also have some audio inputs.
One more thing, Muthamil, this is not only limited for only the sources what we have in the controller. Using your audio matrix, you can use any other source. As you see down, if you see there is a Sonos, there is AirPlay, or for that matter, we integrate with all the third-party available integrational channels. Tomorrow you have a Blue Stream, Sonos, or whatever it is. Please talk to us. We will tell you how to be integrated. Muthamil, please continue.
Yeah. So, and not only that, so maybe if I want to connect some local music services like FM tuner or something, if I have the external hardware, I want to connect it. So definitely you can connect it as a source, right? So it audiometrics devices, it just need the number of sources. That's what, that just the inputs, right? So controller have certain inputs, but I wanted to have more than that. So definitely your sources whatever available, like maybe I can use like a set-top boxes output, so as a one of the audio input. So because those guys plays music channels, I can play those music around my zones, right? So that's what it is, right? And some of the example scenarios, so this is actually with the EF5 and the audiometric switch, and for 8 zones actually. So I'll connect a controller as a 4 input, or maybe any external audio inputs as another 4 inputs, and then to the 8 zone power amplifier, and then to the speakers. So this is like for 8 zone requirement. Or maybe what I can do if I wanted to use as a 6 zone, and as one of the zone as 2.1 in 8 zone matrix switches, it support I think it supports only one channel as 2.1. If it is 8 zone audio matrix switch. If it is 24 cross 24, I think it supports 2 or 3. I'm not sure exactly. So if it is a 24 cross 24, it supports I think it supports 2 or 3. So 6 zones, it goes to the 6 pairs, which goes to the 6 different streaming source, and then 7th will be connected to as a 2 zone, and then the 8th one of the output is connected to a like a uh, subwoofer output, and I can play it from the sub. So it becomes a 2.1 channel. And it is not only has to be a 7th and 8th, it can be 1 and 2, any of the combination. You just need to select what is the number you want to refer it to. So that is how it normally works, right? And maybe for 8 zones I have, if I wanted to add like a 9th zone, definitely you need to have like a triad one as a streaming amplifier. I just connect this streaming amplifier to the network, so it gives you 2.1 output. So all the audios which is available in EF5, the streaming services or USB content or NAS, anything can be available in Triad 1 as well. Right, so the last one, so if I'm using a 24 cross 24, so this is how it will be like. I have multiple sources connected to my 24 cross 24 audiometric switch. And then from my 24 cross 24 audiometric switch, then the power amplifier. So I have 3 different power amplifiers for 8 zone. So because I have 8 zone at the max. So why we have the power amplifier 8 zone is like, you can just decide, like even if I use the 24 cross 24 also, if I have a source requirement of only 16 zones, I can just restrict it with 2 number of power amplifiers, right? So that will be giving you flexibility. So you can add in future if you wanted more number of zones as well. Right. So this actually concludes most of the audio products we have. About the, we need to talk something about the speakers as well, triad speakers, and I am gonna continue at last actually after the video portion. So and then we will talk more on the speaker side as well. So this is actually the conclusion of our audio part. So the next thing is your watch experience, which is mainly talks about the video, right? So in video, the first thing we need to know is what is HDMI and how does it works, because most of your sources are HDMI now, right? So we don't no more using like analog or other things. It's very about nearly about 1% of the devices have analog outputs, RGB or maybe component output, but I think even for a few more days, even that also will go out, right? So we'll have everything in HDMI, right? So why HDMI? So why HDMI has become more popular? And we talked about this in our earlier basic session, I suppose, on the HDMI side, right? So when it comes to HDMI, so the main advantage is your audio and video embedded together. Like even the DVI also, which supports DVI, which means HDCP, encryption, all these things. But the failure reason is they were not actually embedded. So on most of the manufacturer supported HDMI, like maybe Panasonic, Sony, all those things. Okay, so then so actually they were very much evolved with this HDMI as an interference, and then that is how it is actually all extended. Then what happened is they formed this HDCP as an encryption key. So the next thing is why this encryption is needed. So HDMI is actually invented by most of the manufacturers. Then HDCP is invented by most of the content developers, like movie makers, or gaming devices makers, or maybe like OS companies, all those things. So they wanted to go out of this piracy. At the same time, even if you download or watch a movie after 10 years, they wanted to get some revenue out of it. So because they'll hold the content. So that will become that is more advantage for them because they can actually get the money from whenever you do. So that is the reason nowadays you will not actually copy a movie, or you will not actually rip a movie and save it in your hard disk. So it becomes like a old story nowadays. Maybe if I have an Apple TV or maybe a Fire TV, and I'll go and buy it, right? So or buy, download it, I'll watch it whenever I want it. And also they'll give you two options. One is like a renting option. Renting means you can rent a movie and you can watch it once, and the next thing is like a download it where you can watch it for multiple times. You will have a different categories of the pricing. Okay. So previously YouTube was the only guy where you will have that options. You can watch it for free. So even nowadays, even they started doing all these things as well. So they have a lot of content available. They also added this HDCP enable option. So it is very simple. So HDMI is invented by most of the sources and the display manufacturers, and the HDCP is developed for by content developers, right? So they wanted to hold something from the content, whatever they are actually developing it, right? So and so that is the reason. So nowadays they'll say you should not copy and you should not allow others to copy. So just for example, you do a recording of your favorite shows, right? So in your, maybe I'm using a Tata Sky, I'll put a record button for my 7 o'clock program. It just recording it. I can watch it only from that device. I cannot actually remove and connect it to other device and watch it. So that is mainly because of your HDCP restriction. Okay, so that's where this comes more popular. And when you go into the algorithm, what they follow, and the encoding and decoding, what they follow is totally different from what they done with the DVI. So it becomes like they work on something called TMDS, which is transition minimized differential signal, because as I told you, so there is nothing called like a lossless thing. So definitely there will be a encryption and decryption available for any of the sources, whatever you are actually doing it. So how better we are doing is actually the difference what it makes, right? So for each and every color, they have their own TMDS, and all the audio is embedded as a TMDS signals, right? So I'm not going much into TMDS in general. It's like a transmitter and the receiver. So when you transmit it, it will actually apply all the TMDS signals and then convert it and send it. Okay. And your HDMI is like, it will be a 24 pin connection. Sorry, 21 pin connection. Sorry, it's a 19 pin connection, but you will not actually use all those informations like how we have our RGB and other things, we will be using very minimal pins. But in your HDMI, each and every pin holds the data. And also you will not be extracting it like analog content where you can see and say that R is missing, G is missing, horizontal sync is missing. So you cannot actually say it from the HDMI. If it all supports, if it all works fine, you will say video. If it is not working, you will definitely not see the video, right? So in HDMI, there are a few things. After your HDCP, the next thing is like your hard plug detect. Okay, so if you see any of your HDMI, the pin number 19th will be like a deep pin, so it'll be bit inside of your HDMI cable. So that actually ensures all the other pins are connected. But in technically, if you break it or something, it is actually not going to figure out whether it is connected or not. So because only that pin is detected as connection insurement, so there is no any algorithm or anything on that. And once your source is connected, the next thing is it will actually send you 5 volt. If I have a Blu-ray player and a TV, if I connect an HDMI cable, if I enable a 5 volt from, if I connect a HDMI cable from my Blu-ray will ensure that art plug is detected. Like the display also will ensure that art plug is detected. When the art plug is detected, the next thing is it will send, which means your Blu-ray player will send the 5 volt to read the information from your TV. So that is actually called as EDID information, which means your data information from the TV. Okay, what all the resolution you can support. Then the device will resolution support. It'll say that I can play in this many resolutions. What is the best you have? Can you send me? So then your Blu-ray will send the signal. So that is how it normally works, right? So first thing is your hard plug. Once your hard plug is ensured, then the 5 volt to trigger the trigger the resolution information. Once the resolution is up, then it will actually ensure the communication. But when it ensure the communication, it will actually ensure whether the content and the source and the display, it's all actually HDCP supported. So once it is supported, definitely it's gonna play it. Okay, so there are a lot of players which go on actually. Sometimes you may see some issues with like where I have a Blu-ray player. If I play that Blu-ray player in this particular player, it is not supporting it. So that is because of your HDCP. And also, if it is all works, then only you'll actually have a video, right? So you will not have like a, if it is all okay, then only you'll have a video. Otherwise, what you will have is like no signal. It will not say that HDCP is error or maybe a EDID is error. It will definitely not show it. Okay, so now what they have actually done, the recent HDCP versions, some of them actually shows us it does not support the resolution, or maybe it does not support the HDCP keys, or maybe all those things and all slowly started coming up in. So, but maybe in maybe 1 or 2 years back, so it is like signal or no signal, right? So these are a few things about the HDMI, and we talked earlier in detail. So this is actually how does it normally works. So one thing is your art plug, which ensure the connection, and then source will initiate the EDID information. So then the display will send back the resolution to read it, and then based on it, it will actually authenticate it and send the data. So that's how the HDMI normally works, right? And why I am talking about all these things? Because your audio metrics, so your HDMI also have some of the limitations as well, right? So we will talk about that limitations. And before we talk, so we need to have what is the current generation of HDMI we are actually in, right? So at present, I think we are in 2.1 HDMI version. So what is the maximum data it can transmit? What is the maximum data it can receive? This is all actually the information about the HDMI versions. Okay, if you want to play a content in 40, which means in 4K, so your data has to be the tantra transmission between your data, which means your source and display is about like 48 gigabits, right? So it's very huge, right? So when it have a more kind of data information, definitely you will have the distance issues and all those things. We are gonna talk about it. So the first thing on the EDID information, what I was actually explaining about. So just for example, if I connect my laptop to a TV, so immediately my laptop will say that what is the resolution you can support. So immediately your TV will respond back saying that this is what my resolution is. Can I play in any of this, right? So then your laptop will decide that this is what the resolution I wanted to support it, right? So HDCP, this is always a pain in most of the HDMI cases, but now almost there are a lot of things which is changing in the HDMI. So definitely you can look around, right? So and the other thing is your CEC, the consumer electronic control. This is actually a kind of automation what they wanted to achieve it in the audio video in generally. So for example, if I have a DVD, So I'll just like, if I have a DVD, I'll just say a play button, and then it'll turn on my AV receiver, and then it'll turn on my display, and then it'll switch the input of my display, and then my AV receiver, and then it'll start playing the content by itself. The only thing is it needs to be in standby, right? And the next thing is, this works for one source to one TV or one source to one display. What if I have multiple sources? Each and every devices will have the CEC enabled. So each and everything will be keep polling it, sources, what displays, what you want to send the content. This will create a lot of mesh. Okay, so this will create a lot of issues in your automation projects, right? Most of the times you might be seeing that my TV is turning on by itself, or my something is Apple TV turns on by night 11 o'clock. So all these weird stories you'll be seeing mainly because of CEC. Okay, so as a system integration guy, so we always say turn off all your CECs, because that is what you're going to do it in your automation, right? So you're going to make it sure that your device is turned off, so there is no issues with the CEC. So we always say just turn it off all your CECs. And in the CECs, a lot of the times the issue is it is not actually followed as a protocol. So they just copy and run the algorithms. Sometimes some of the commands might work, sometimes it might not work. So there is a lot of things which is needed. So it is as simple as turn off CEC for any of your projects. Even for your basic home also, if you have multiple sources, it is always better to turn it off. Okay, because once you turn off all your sources, then definitely if you any devices, it will keep polling for CEC, then definitely that will create your issue, right? So this is mainly about the HDMI. So, and what is the limitations and what is the issues with your HDMI or maybe a DVI? So the main thing is distance, right? So I think the 4K, the maximum distance they say is 10 meters, I suppose, right? So the as long as your resolution gets increases, definitely your distance will get decreases, right? So, and the next thing is your connectors and other things. It's not field terminatable connectors. Okay, so a lot of the people will say that there is a lot of connectors which is available right now, right? But how many of you use it in your projects? Okay, if you see it, I think it's not even equal to 1%, right? So the next thing is it is not a field terminatable connectors. I cannot run it, conduit, all those things. There is another lot of pain in your HDMI. And the next thing is extracting your audio. As I was showing you earlier, the HDMI fin configuration, how do I extract my analog audios, right? So that is actually another pain. So I'll have you actually see it. Right, so these are small things. There is lot many things around it. So they'll say that you should be running a connectors, you should not actually bend the cable to 90 degrees, you lose the quality. So there is a lot of things around it. Even if you use the extender, you cannot use more than 2 extenders. So there is lot many things around it. So each and every extender consumes the HDCP key. So it is very good to do for a one room. So when I wanted to do a multi-room, so definitely I need to look for some other alternative option. That is what the main rule with the HDMI is, right? So in that case, what actually happened is that's where the HD-based TS came in as a evolving technology to where you will use your a single Cat6, say a Cat5e cable, Cat6 cable can transmit your audio, video, and also your control signals, right? And your Ethernet signal and your power. So everything in a single cable. So they just wanted to utilize your existing cable infrastructure with like a transmitter and a receiver technology. So where the transmitter will convert your HDMI signal to a Cat6 signal, on the other end you will convert it back as a Cat6 signal, sorry, HDMI signal. So that is actually the principle of HD-based T. So it was there for quite a long time now. So most of the people started using it. So in your multi-room video applications, right? When it comes to video distribution, so definitely there is no other option. You need to think about HDBaseT option, right? Right. So where I'll use this HDBaseT. So the main thing is when you have a longer distance, so you'll be using your HDBaseT as a technology. So where you'll have the sources, all will be connected to a kind of video matrix switch which supports HDBaseT, or maybe a extender which supports HDBaseT input and output. So I'll be connecting an HDMI input here, and then on the other end, I'll take a Cat6 or Cat5e output and connect it to the HD-based receiver on the other end, and then take it back as HDMI and connect it to TV. So this will take multiple inputs and multiple outputs basically. So why we say multiple inputs and multiple outputs? When you do the video matrix, that becomes more necessary option. So just to show an example, so what is the video matrix which is available? So I'm taking an example of a control 4 video matrix basically. So I'm just taking an example of 10 cross 10. So it takes 10 HDMI inputs and give you 10 HDMI output. Out of 10, so we give you 2 HDMI output and 8 as HD-based output. So why we give 2 HDMI output is like maybe if I'm putting this in my theater or maybe a nearby rooms, anything which is there, I can take the HDMI and connect it. So that becomes like I really don't have to spend on the receiver on the other end, right? So I can connect it to the nearby devices, right? So that is actually the input and output. And it also solves the other purpose, your audio extraction. For example, if I connect any HDMI source, there is an audio output which is available. So if you can see audio matrix as a separate portion on the below, and I can extract the analog audio and connect it to a power amplifier and I can play it, right? And the next thing is the distance is 100 meters when you comes with the HD-based, right? So that is actually another added advantage, right? So the earlier version, they said about 150 meters of 1080p. So then 4K comes in. So definitely, so 100 meters is actually the ideal distance. That's what the current recommendation is, right? Right. So it supports the audio extraction also. So the audio extraction, I can take the audio output and I can connect it to the power amplifier and I can play it from like maybe if I connect a setup box and I can extract the audio and I can play it in my multi-zone as well. So that is actually another problem which is actually solving it here, right? So that is actually a great audio
So
extraction option which is available in your HD-based technology.
the beauty of the system is this: it comes with 8x8 matrix or a 10x10 matrix, where you have 10 inputs of HDMI and 8 inputs of RCA. So what happens is, like for example, you're watching a Tata Sky somewhere else, want to take the audio and play it on a speaker using this audio metrics outputs, you can decode a content of a video information into audio information. Same way, you can take a audio content into a video information as well. So that's a benefit. It actually becomes a 18 into 18 matrix, where 10 is HDMI inputs and 8 is audio inputs. So you can crisscross between audio to video to audio seamlessly. That's the benefit the system offers you at this point of time. Thank you,
So
Mudra. Continue.
yeah, technically we refer it as like for example, if I'm taking a 10 cross 10, it is a 10 cross 10 video matrix and 18 cross 8 audio matrix. So that is what the great advantage it. And when it comes to installation, so it becomes more neat and clean. So you'll have all your sources connected into a centralized rack. So you'll just run only the Cat6 cable to each and every display locations, and you'll just use the receiver and connect it and extract it back. And along with this, it works as a control pass through as well, and also the network switch as well, which is actually built in. So I'm just gonna show you an example. So before that, I'll just show you, this is actually the HD-based receiver. So where I'll give the HD-based as a input, and I can take the HDMI output, IR output, and also the LAN output. So this is what the feature which is actually available. So just to show you as example, so I have a sources connected. This is for audio and video. And the next thing is control. So for example, if I want to control any devices by IR or RS-232, I'll take the IR output and connect it to the device, like IR emitter to a Blu-ray player or IR emitter to the TV, right? So here, if I wanted to run, what I can actually do is, I'll just pass through it. I'll take the IR and connect it to the video matrix, the same Cat6 cable what is actually running. So that will actually convert it back at the receiver end. I can connect it and control it via TV. So I don't really have to run a control cable here, right? And the next thing is your network, right? So this has actually a built-in network switch as well. So all the receiver will take, I can connect the TV or maybe a access point or local switch outside. So I'll just connect only one LAN input output here. So sorry, one LAN in output from the network switch to the video matrix here. And then the same, all the HD-based output actually takes carry your network switch output as well. Just so it actually built in network switch as well, right? So that is actually
The other point here is all the LU1As, that is the receiver, what we're speaking about, is of Class A type. Many of the manufacturers available in the market today gives you a Class B amplification, Class B type. What we're applying is of the Class A HD-based receiver at this point of time. So it comes with its own advantage of Class A has better support, better 4K transmission. It can go up to 17 meters to 18 meters, versus the Class B cannot take that content for a longer distance. So that's the only point I want to add in here.
so the video distribution. So just the products category. So we have multiple categories, like on the HD-based solutions, we have 6x6, up to 10x10 on 4K, and the 1080p versions, I think we are no more selling it, because nowadays everyone moving towards 4K, and also the later technology which is available. And in the video distribution, so with the HD-based solutions, we do have something called down mixing switches. What is the down mixing switches in the sense? For example, we talked about CEC and the EDID other issues, right? So there is a lot of limitation with the EDID. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Here, what happens is I am watching a movie in 4K with the Dolby Atmos audio, right? So here in my theater, it's playing in 5.1 or whatever the Dolby Atmos setup is. At the same time, for the same source, you can extract the audio in 2 channels simultaneously. So it supports both at the same. In generally, what happens with your HD-based switches is if it downscale to 2 channel, all your source, maybe if I'm playing in theater also, that is also will be in 2 channel. So it'll play 2 channel in theater, it'll play 2 channel in other rooms if you wanted, right? So that is actually the another advantage of the down mixing versions. That is actually another great feature with the video matrix devices of the HD-based, right? So just to give you a small principle, how does it normally works? I'll have multiple sources connected to my video matrix, and then I'll have multiple devices which plays in multiple resolutions. So on the below, you can actually see like maybe living room in 4K, master bedroom in 4K, and maybe Billy's room and guest room in 1080p. So because I cannot afford everything in 4K at some time, right? So, and what happens is all the sources can be played in any outputs, any inputs, any outputs, definitely. But by default, what happens here is the EDID management, what it'll actually do is it will play your video content seamlessly. How does it play is it will play only the lowest common denominator. So what is the lowest common denominator? For example, here what it will play is 1080p in all the devices. Even I have 4K which supports with high resolution audio, whatever I refer for, but it won't actually play in like a 4K. So what is the other way to achieve this is in Control 4 we do something called source locking, or maybe a zone locking, what we call it as. When I do source locking or source locking or a zone locking, so when I lock it, so I can play, maybe for example, if I have a 4K Blu-ray player, when I lock the zone locking, I can play 4K content in my living room, but the other rooms will not be able to access that content, right? So when they can access it, if I turn off the living room, other rooms can be uh, other rooms can play in 1080p resolution. So that is actually the added advantage. For example, if I have a theater with all my Atmos setups and everything which has happened, I want to play in Dolby set Atmos at 4K resolution in my theater. Maybe other rooms I'll be having in 1080p. So because of this EDID, it should not actually go into the 1080p, right? So I can actually play it in 4K. So that is how your source locking or a zone locking will help you achieve that. So if I do source locking or zone locking, I can play in 4K.
So on the other terms, we also have a calibration facility. When you're programming all these devices, you need to set up all these devices on for the TVs as well as the sources, so that it will analyze what is the calibration and what is the source supports. For example, some TVs can support 4K, some TVs can support 1080p. You need to understand all this information. Accordingly, it will calibrate itself and make it operational hereafter. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So that is actually the traditional HD based solution, because that's for actually still we do sell this option actually, right? So for HD based integration for the video matrixing solutions where they wanted to have everything in centralized location, but I wanted to distribute it in multiple location. So now the next version of this is please add up, Suman.
One second. There's a question like what's down mixing again to repeat. So the point is like, for example, in every home there'll be multiple TVs. When you have a normal TV at a home or a TV is a stereo setup. When you have a home theater, it might be a 5.1, 7.1 setup. For example, you're watching a content in your TV, there is a normal television where it's a 2.1 stereo. I would have enabled the source to be 2.1 stereo. At the same time, you turn it on in the home theater, the home theater output will also be at the 2.1 stereo setup only because it's already playing in one place. Otherwise, you need to do zone locking in order to make it 5.1. But with the option of down mixing, what happens? You can parallelly watch 2.1 setup at one place and 5.1 setup at a different place. That's the advantage of down mixing. I hope it's clear now. Go ahead, Muthavar.
Right. So definitely, if someone has the question on down mixing and other things, we can take it in personal. So you can give a call us. We can explain even in better. So I think that is the best way to explain it. Right. So now the next thing is media over IP. So what is this media over IP? So media distribution and other things over IP. Right. So in your HD-based solutions, one of the advantages. Oh, sorry. In HD-based solutions, one of the disadvantages your EDID resolution information. For example, I want to play 4K and 1080p at the same time. You will definitely cannot do that. You need to have the down mixing version, right? So that's what the someone was explaining about, right? So in my some cases, I want to play in 4K, and some my cases I want to play in 1080p. With media over IP solution, definitely you can play multiple resolution at the same time. And another advantage is, for example, if I have the HD-based solution, what I'll normally do is, it is actually restricted with the inputs and outputs. For example, if I take 10 input and 10 output, it's restricted to 10 in and 10 out. Maybe for example, I wanted to add a 11th display, so it's gonna be a separate island, right? So it's gonna be a separate source connected, because already I have a 10 input, 10 output connected, so I'll not be using it as a 11th input. So that is actually one of the disadvantages of your HD-based. It is not actually like a disadvantage, but yeah, just to have some of the points. So one is actually your EDID issues, and the next thing is multiple inputs and outputs. And also some cases I'll be using a 10 cross 10, but I'll be using only 2 inputs, or maybe I'll be using only 3 inputs, right? So all the other 7 inputs, which is of no use. But here this HD-based solution, sorry, this MOIP solution, which is MOIP is generic term what we normally use. It's a media over IP or AV over IP. So whatever the names you generally the referment, you can actually take it up. So this becomes more modern way to distribute your video and audio sources, right? So what is happening is here, so instead of your video matrix switches, so they are gonna do it with the network switch. So I'll have a transmitter and call it as an encoder, and I'll have a decoder on the other end, right? So this becomes more compressed version. I can select the inputs and outputs and how many numbers I wanted. I can build my own MOIP environment with the video matrix solutions. So I'm gonna talk about that in detail. So the first thing is, what is IP media distribution? So it is referred as AV over IP, media over IP, audio video. So what there are different terms in general in the market, but what it actually does is audio video distribution over your network switch, right? So we need a L2 network switch, and there are some categories they need a L3 switch, and we will talk about this why L2, L3, all those things also, right? And another advantage of this media over IP is scaling the switching. So which means I can select the inputs and outputs anytime, anywhere I wanted, right? And this is very common applications used in your homes and also commercial spaces as well. It was wide option. And in Control 4, we represent a brand, not a represent, it's actually our own company, which is named as a Binary for all the video products, and that will be available in the name of Binary. So Binary is actually by a Control 4 sub brand basically. So because we merged with Snap AV, all the Snap AV brands are Control 4 brands now. So that's how it is. And so the history of your video distribution, a lot of things around it. One thing is, so we decided about this networking switch as a video distribution content, but what is the bandwidth it can actually transmit? So if you see the HDMI earlier, if I talked about, like 48 Gbps of the data can need for a 4K. So that is the reason you need a dedicated HDMI cable and all those things, right? So how do you achieve that kind of data transmission over your network? So that will be a big pain, right? So you're really not going to use that, right? And the next thing is the hardware changes, right? So it keep on changing the things and around things. And the next thing is how to compress and encode the HDMI. So because if it is like 48 Gbps or other things, definitely you will not be able to send the data over Cat6, or you will not definitely gonna encrypt and decrypt it fast. So that's where we have the encryption, what it makes it more easy. So there are multiple ways to do it. So some of the manufacturer uses 1 Gbps encryption, which is actually a JPEG encryption, and there is another encryption which is of 10 Gbps, which is SD over voice. That is actually the different technologies, right? So we use JPEG 2000, so which is of 1 Gbps data basically. And the next thing is, how do we make it compression more accessible and also your encryption and decryption access fast, which means visually lossless. So this is all the key points which actually made us and think about how to make our video metrics over IP more simple. So how do we do it? So the first thing is what makes our MOIP environment. So first thing is your controller, which is called as a MOIP controller, which is your media over IP environment controller. This will be needed 1 unit per project. And this is the guy who handles your entire transmitter, receiver, entire setup of your video matrix devices. And the next thing is transmitter. It is based on number of sources, right? Maybe if I have Blu-ray player, Tata Sky, etc., all those things, all the sources will need one transmitter. And it supports, our transmitter supports 4K, which means UHD, and HDCP 2.2 compatible. And it supports high resolution audio as well. And also it have a HDMI loop out to check, or maybe if you have a local display, you want to connect it, you can do that. And also it has something called IR flasher. Maybe if I want to control any source, I can take the IR flasher and connect it. I can control it. So it does not need a loop through from your controller. It's just similar like your uh, global cache and other things, right? So I can take IP over uh, IP over IR, I can take it and connect it and I can control it. So these are actually the key features of my transmitter. So it has audio extractor also, and also HDMI loop through, and it powered over PoE. So if I have a L2 network switch with the PoE capability, it just it's the PoE powered. And we say actually a 4K distribution as like a lossless. Definitely when you have any 4K solutions over network, so you will have a loss, not loss actually, you will have a delay. So here we have about 2 seconds is actually just the transition time. So only that is actually the delay what we normally see in our 4K environment. And all the receivers, it based on the number of displays like TV, projectors, all those things. Okay, and it can support mixed outputs like 4K, 2K, all the resolutions, and it is HDCP 2.2 compatible and PoE powered again and visually lossless. So same configuration as what the transmitter is, but it is actually the receiver, and it can be powered over PoE, right? And also it supports audio extractor, which means if I have any sources, I want to connect it in the local room with the TV in a 2.2 stereo setup or something, I can take it and I can connect it to the power amplifier and I can play it into channel. And for the IR control, it has actually the higher flasher as well. And another advantage with this receiver is it help you create the video wall also. I'll just show you how does it looks like and other things. So where we have the bezel adjustment, all those things for a video walls. So making a video walls becomes more easier nowadays with the video or IP solutions basically. And for this, the only main requirement is your network switch has to be more strong and more strong to handle all the environment. So we support all the third-party network switches as well. So as long as it is a layer 2 switch, okay. So why we say layer 2 switch as a requirement? So any AVV or IP solutions, it needs a bandwidth. Depends on your source, right? So the JPEG 2000 compression, what happens is it actually compresses and gives you about 900 Mbps of data. So if you wanted to handle 900 Mbps of data, so if I have 10 sources, all the 10 sources need a dedicated 900 Mbps. So if I have a managed L2 switch, then only it can be handled. If I go with the unmanaged switch, what happens? Your entire bandwidth of your data will be like a 1 Gbps, right? So that itself will share with all your inputs and outputs. So definitely it's gonna flood your network. So you will not be able to see all the sources and outputs, right? So that is the reason we always recommend L2 switch as a recommend, right? If I have any compression which happens with other technology where it can go up 10 Gbps, so some of the guys will recommend you go for a 10 Gbps switch, right? So that becomes more critical than in that case of the transmission. So we just do a L2 switching. So we just need a L2 layer switch. So that is a great, that is what the only requirement for my video distribution here is, right?
Mustafa, there's a question from Joe. Can you explain the local source connection again, please?
So on the transmitter you are talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So the transmitter, it gives you local output. What is this local output is, if I give an input and I can take the output and I can connect it to any local devices which is available, and it is not only HDMI, and also it gives you audio extractor and output. Maybe if I have the audio metric switches, you want to play the HDMI, and I can take the output and I can connect it to the audio metric switches as well, and I can play it. And on the other side, on the receiver also, there is a audio output available. So what is this audio output available is for? Like instead of I'm connecting it to TV and taking the output from the TV and connecting it to the speakers, in some cases if I have the stereo speakers, I can directly take the audio output from my receiver itself and I'll just connect it to the power amplifier or maybe a triad 1 amplifier and I can listen in 2.1 as well. So it gives you analog audio extraction also from here. All right. And the next thing is, of course, the L2 switch, what we are actually talking about. Right. Okay. So going more in deeper, how does the environment will normally look like? So make it some of the times when we make it with the picture, it will be giving you overall idea. So the main thing is your layer 2 switch, which is of PoE, because all the transmitter receivers, everything works on PoE. So it is become if there is a 12-volt power option also available, but if it is a PoE, it becomes more easy. One is MIP controller, that is per project. So the next thing is the transmitter, which is number of sources. Based on that, you need to consider the transmitters. And the next thing is receivers based on the number of displays. And how does it all gonna be in the single network? So binary will be on just the network, so there will not be any other connections with that. And HDMI connection for all your sources. And then all the displays again HDMI receiver. It is like encoding and decoding on the other end. Right, and all this has to be connected to the network switch. So that is what the main requirement here about. Right, so all these things will be connected to a network switch, and it all can be powered over PoE. Right, and all these transmitters and the receivers, what happened is it is actually independent device. So that is where the main limitation we are coming up from the HD-based T. Right, so where you have the dedicated network switch, it binded with the number of inputs and the outputs. But here what happens is I can decide any inputs, any outputs at any time. So I just need the Cat6 connectivity. That's all it's all about. Right. So does it make more clear? I think. And your MIP will not support ARC at the moment. Right. And the next thing is video wall, making it more easier. So you can configure any way of the video wall, like maybe entire thing has to be a single image or maybe multiple images based on the transmitters. It's all actually from the programming. And this binary comes with their own app as well. So where I can install the binary app and I can control everything from the MIP environment itself. Right. So or maybe one content are the same, or maybe all the other things were different. Right. So this is actually at present, I think any of the video or IP is not supported with ARC if I am not wrong. So not to worry about the ARC for now. Right. So that is actually the MIP configuration, and we have our own. This is what the MIP controller normally does. I just need to log in into my MIP controller, and that will detect your entire transmitters and the receivers in the project, and that will show you all your sources as well. You can easily figure out what is the source it is available, and you can rename any displays, any transmitters, any receivers by just clicking it, and updates, connectivity, everything happens, which means the entire MIP environment is managed by the MIP controller. That is what it is actually about. That is what the purpose of the MIP controller in a project. It's just a small device, but that just manages everything, make it more simple. Because in some cases, what happens is a lot of complexity in the MIP environment. So they need to transmit, they need to detect each and every transmitter, detect each and every receiver. It does not work. They need to unplug and check the IP address. So there is a lot many things around it. So we made it more simple for our system integrators and the dealers, so they can just run the scanning and they can detect it everything. So that's what it's all actually all about. Right, and this MIP also comes with OVC environment. So OVC environment, so where we say it as a remote monitoring tool, setup, configuration, everything you can do it remotely. So it becomes more easy and accessible anytime, anywhere. So that is actually the another advantage with binary, right? And this is available with their own app also. They can just use it only the binary for maybe commercial project with more displays and just only few controls I can do it. But for the home environments, definitely you need to do it with the controller, because then only will have the entire control options, integration, everything together. And we do have a driver for like all the third party uh, controllers and other things as well, like Crestron or Elan or RTA or any of the third party manufacturers. And there is a open protocol also. Maybe if you are using your own controller, you can write your own driver as well. So we are very much open with that on the binary products. It's all actually IP control driver. Right. So that is actually about MIP solutions. So definitely we might be having a lot of questions now time. So we are just gonna run through about the speakers, and then we will actually open to questions. We can discuss about what all the things, what all the feedbacks or the comments you have. So definitely we will be talking about it more. Right. So this is actually the entire audio video environment from the control floor. So and on the triad side, we have our own speakers. I'm just going to run through the series of the speakers, what and all we have, and a bit of triad difference, what it makes in the speakers, right? This guy is actually one of the funding members for CDR. They done a design for, they done a speaker solutions for the Atmos by itself. So they are very much good in speakers. And why triad? So they do like their own handcrafted speaker, and in USA they ship it very soon. So for India we say 3 weeks as a time, and the custom installation, custom sites, sound bus, and any combinations of the speakers, any drivers into anything, and enclosures matching, veneer matching, and color matching, paint finishes, match it with your TV. So we have a ranges which is from nano till like a cinema reference. So it's actually the entire big category of the speakers what they are actually doing, right? So in US they are actually initially they were actually about, so when we have actually bought them, so they were about 750 dealers around, so not more than that. So they were actually very much limited access to the dealers, and they were very much like a constrained brand to, and I think it is not available for like, you know, so you cannot actually see most of the reviews and other things going around worldwide or other things, because they were very much limited with the number of dealers appointment and other things. So once we acquired them, so the important thing about the triad is we wanted this kind of experience has to be available for all the control for dealers. So that is the reason. So it is actually open to all the dealers as well, so where we can access the entire triad portfolio, right? So to understanding the range, so I'm starting with the range exposures. So the fun thing is mainly for the LCRs, where we have a two-way and three-way speakers. So our two-way series, which actually starts from like a mini, and then bronze, and then silver. And after the silver, we have a gold, platinum, and cinema reference. This is all actually a three-way speakers. So where you will have two woofers and actually one mid-range woofer and then a tweeter. And there is a lot of difference on the quality, sizes, and other things. We will discuss about that as well. And of course, definitely the LCR purpose is mainly for the home theater front series of speakers, like front, left, right, and center. And we have other categories as well. So on the next thing is like a satellite speakers, or maybe a single subwoofer with a tweeter, which means a single woofer with a tweeter. It can be used for a small theater applications, or maybe a dedicated listening rooms, or maybe you can use it as a Atmos side speaker as well. We have the in-ceiling version also on these satellite versions. We have the ranges which start from mini, bronze, and silver, so not more than that. Above gold, we have only the other ranges. And we do have a micro range as well on this satellite speakers, maybe for the small applications. And then on the woofer side, so we have woofers which is of active and passive woofers, multiple categories with the multiple inches of the drivers, which means like the bronze range will start from 10-inch and it goes up to 18-inch on the gold series. And on the powered series, we call it as a Omni speakers, which is a passive active speakers. We have from 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch. And all the speakers, all the woofers, all these devices, it comes in a different form factor. Like it can go into in-room, in-wall, on-wall. So all the combinations are available. So all the combinations are available at the same price, basically, right? And on the woofers, we have some of the different categories of the woofer. And we say something called a slim sub, a subwoofer which is of 3-inch, but the sound is really phenomenal. It can support up to 300 watts, where it comes with this own amplifier as well. And on the subwoofer, we are actually like, you know, the unique designs. What we actually do something called a flux subwoofer. So mainly which can blend with your ceiling AC ducts and other things. We have this flux subs as well. So these are actually the different kind of subwoofers what we have for the projects. And the next thing is surround speakers, dedicated surround speakers. Normally, we can use the satellite versions as well, but in some cases, if you want to use the surround dedicated one, we have categories which start from bronze, silver, and gold, and also the cinema reference series, where all these speakers are actually uses a dipole design. So where you will have a tweeter and one woofer on the top. So we have the dipole diversions, and which can give you a diffused different sound for your surround sound actually environment. So that gives you a different unique sound basically, right? So the gold series will have the two of the dipoles versions, and then the silver till silver it is actually a one dipole, which means a two tweeter and one woofer, and the gold will have one woofer and two tweeters, so where it can actually give you more in differences, right? And mainly for the people who are of the audio category side, so we have a different category range. We call it as a Omni series. You have a two-channel listening room solutions or any theater, so where you have a two-way design for a two-channel speakers, it can give you more in-depth of the sound in general. Right. So other than that, we do have outdoor solutions. We have an outdoor speaker which is called as a OD series, outdoor series of 25 and 26, and then also the landscape speakers where it can comes with the underground subwoofer as well, which is available in different series, and also a dedicated Atmos series speakers. We will talk about that also, where we say it as a theater grade in ceiling speakers. So we have the entire speaker range categorized, and we do have something called a distributed audio series, mainly for the where we talked about a multi-room audio solutions. For that categories, we have a distributed audio series. We have three different series. Series one, which actually has a basic uh, Kyle, and then the next one is like the version 2, and then the next one is version. Right, thank you. Right, so we have the various sizes for which can matches with from the 4-inch to a 8-inch depth. There is a different series of all the DA series which is available. So where we have the basic carbon woofer, and then it goes up to polypropylene, and then we have the last one is actually the copper cone. So we have the different kind of woofers for each and every category. So there is a different categories available for the series. So there is a different specs available. I'm gonna see in uh, maybe I'll show it in this later version, right? So it covers you the most of your application for your distributed audio. And the added advantage with the DA series is your Twitter is adjustable, and it's a front grill, you can open and remove it, and it gives you more flexibility for installation, and all the grills available options, like you can have a round or a square grills for the speaker. We have the frameless grill with frame grill, all those things are available. And we do have something called dual tech speakers, which means a single speaker will have a two tweeter, mainly for kind of a single room, maybe a bathrooms and all. We'll normally use a single speaker, but you normally play in mono. So why do you want to play in mono? You can have a two tweeter, which a single speaker can have a two channel, and it can play the same stereo effect in your single room as well. So it's give you a broader range, a lot of ranges which is available. And we do have something called a shallow depth speakers, where you don't have the more space on your ceiling. So we have a shallow depth speaker which can actually go, it is actually comes in a 2-inch, and where it can go into your ceiling. So it's not even 2-inch, it's 1.5-inch or 2-inch depth. So it gives you full flexibility on the connections, right? So to comprise, we have the entire range of distributed audio, which means in-wall, ceiling, and in-wall and the in-ceiling versions. And then for the home theaters, we have the entire range from mini, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum on cinema reference. And then, of course, we do have a soundbar solutions. We are actually very much known in for soundbar solutions for our customization. We have single channel, dual channel, and 3 channels. I'm gonna talk about that also. And for the Atmos, for the dedicated Atmos series, and then we do have a subwoofers on entire categories, and also the outdoor dedicated speakers, and then the audiophile options, where the pro for the listening options like designer series and all the things are which is available, right? So we have the entire range categories from the basic to the high end, and we do have the different resources available for our entire speakers and all these things: white triad, multi-room solution, soundbar solution, data solutions, entire speaker reference guide, everything which is available. So I'll try to put all these resources in our today's, like, the sharing after once we done it. And in case if you don't like whatever we do, or if you have your own preferences or own changes or the space constraints, or you want to do your own design of the speakers, we do have the custom solutions as well. For we do custom changes based on your requirement, and of the categories of the speakers, right? So we do like a different categories, maybe a single soundbar with all the silver and a subwoofer inbuilt, or maybe a gold, or maybe a different options you wanted. So we do the entire category here, right? And when it comes to home theater, so the main thing is, like, we have the different ranges, mini to cinema reference. What is the main difference will be the drivers, right? So 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, and the 15-inch drivers. And till gold, still silver, we say it as a two-way speakers, which means two woofer and one tweeter. Above silver, you will have a three-way designs. So you'll have a two main woofers and then mid-range woofer, and then of course the tweeter and all these things. And definitely there will be a price change as well. So, but the great thing is, like, the versions, like if you do in wall, on wall, or in room, most of the speaker prices will be identical. And maybe I can design it as a in wall, and then I can, maybe if the customer changes to in room, you can definitely, you'll not have any price changes in generally. And some of the identical scenarios, so what is the capability we can play in, what is the range, what is the distance limitations we need to consider. If I have the, this is actually considered from the central seating position. 2.2 meter from the central, we can design up to bronze, and then of course 3 meters silver, 5 meters is gold, more than that platinum and cinema reference. And this is like a identical design, so considered as a room size from the central position. But we do have our own home theater design team, which actually can work on your design requirement. So where you can upload your design requirement. So we'll be working on it and send it to you back with the actual speakers, which can suit appropriate to your design requirement. All right. So as I told you, so identical drivers, identical crossover, identical internal capacity, identical price, identical sound. So we have entire categories like in room, in wall, in ceiling. We do have a LCR, which is in ceiling. So which means I can put it on the top and I can listen it. So our on wall. So we have the entire category. So it's all will be in the same price. Right, and we do support all the sound formats like RO3D, Dolby Atmos, and DTS. So that is actually the great options and flexibility. And on that soundbar, so for example, if you see about today's televisions, we always say TV is thin and it looks beautiful, the picture quality is phenomenal, and the next thing is the speakers, right? So that's where the soundbar actually plays a major role. So most of this TVs and other things, the sound is like, even they say whatever the sound format it supports, but it actually does not actually give you the comfort what you actually feel with your theater speakers and other things, right? So that's where you will always go for the soundbar. So definitely, if I go for the generic versions, so the matching with my screen is always a pain, right? So it'll really look odd options, right? So that's where what the control for have is, so you give the custom size, we will match it with your size, and also you give the paint finish, veneer finish, we will match it with whatever the colors you wanted. So that's where control for our standard. We have 3 dedicated soundbar series, like we have a nano, micro, and mini. So each will have their own different categories of woofers, the main and drivers, and nano, which comes in 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch design. So where it can go in much slow, slim and depth options. And we do have a different channel options, like 1 channel, 2 channel, 3 channel versions. Maybe a single 2 channel, I can use it as a stereo option, or maybe 3 channel, I can use it as a LCR option for as a sound bar. And all these devices are actually a passive device. You need a AV receiver. It is not actually a, I can connect a TV input to this, it will not work. You need a AV receiver. So it is mainly for a dedicated theater or the similar kind of applications. And we have the standard width adjustment, where we have from 24-inch to it can go up to like a 82-inch based on your requirement, basically, right? And So we
So
have
point is, we have standard products of 24 to 82 inches, or you want a customized product, we can make it to any customization levels you want. And we also have a possibility of building a customized speaker wherein, for example, if you're really looking at nano, micro, mini here, we can do a silver soundbar, we can do a gold soundbar. It depends on the size, place, what you want. Based on your requirement, we can completely customize it, the soundbar to your choice. We can also do paint match, veneer match, color match.
Yeah, I think the paint match actually we are doing it for free of cost. So if you have the paint to be matched, definitely we are actually going to do it. So default is I think it's a black version. So if you have any preference on the paints, actually we do match it with the paint as well. Right. So what is the difference? Custom sensing. Can you type in the question? We'll talk about it later. So the main thing. Yeah, Ashish. Hello.
Sir, how we can do the customization in the soundbar if we are having a 55 inches television?
So we have the standard size of 42 and you can extend it up to like, 62, whatever it is. So you need to actually measure the actual size of your TV and you need to place order based on your size. So you can select, I wanted micro series, my TV size is, this is what the inch is. Can you custom match it? Definitely we'll custom match that size. Okay. And
Okay, so
normally if I say standard 52,
by telling
53,
you the
there are
sizes of the
TVs.
television, you can customize the product for the customer, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because what happens is not all the TVs, if I say 52 inch, the length of your sound woofer will not match with the same 52 inch, right? So they'll have the thin bezel, somebody will have the bigger bezel, so it is not actually gonna, yeah. Right. So that actually you need to measure the actual size and we'll match it with the width.
Hello. Hi. Am I audible? Hello.
Hey, we are not going to question it. Can maybe another
Okay.
5-10 minutes we will talk about it. No worries. You just have your questions on hold, or maybe you can type in. So we'll talk about it. So just give me
We will
5-10
definitely
minutes.
take questions at the last, and we'll answer. For the time being, you can WhatsApp. You can do it on chat. So we'll continue.
Yeah. So another 5-10
Thank.
minutes. I'll just finish it up. Then we'll take the questions. Right. On the multi-room audio solutions, as I was telling you, so we have the entire range, which is from the basic to the high categories range as well. And we do have something called the designer series speakers. We'll talk about that as well in detail. So to start with, we have a distributed audio series, which have the different size categories where we have the 6-inch, 4-inch, 6.9-inch, which is a 7-inch, 8-inch, or the 9-inch, and where we have the custom grill options. And we have 3 series, which can be like, the polypropylene versions and the poly mica versions or the carbon fiber version. So carbon fiber version is the distribution audio version 3. So where you have the superior quality of the audio. So the entry level is polypropylene version. So we have the entire categories on the distributed audio series as well. So we say multi-room audio series, right? And what is the uniqueness about it? So like it has the front mounted grill adjustment and you can adjust even the tweeter as well. So mainly in some cases, my speaker is not adjusted properly or it is not like, fixed it correctly. So I can just adjust the tweeter so that you can have the better experience, just like pressing the tweeter in front. And it gives you like a better option. And we have a frameless grill, so you can actually do it. The frameless grill can be custom made, paint matched actually. So that's about it. And all the triad speakers, of course, all the speakers comes with a 10 years warranty. So we say it as all the electronics on the triad side, it will be like a 2 years standard. But on the speakers and other sides, so definitely it's actually 10 years warranty on the products. Right. And the outdoor series, we have the garden array series. What is the uniqueness about the garden array series? We can run a speaker with the 8 ohms, or maybe if you have the AC power audio outputs, you can connect it like a 70 to 100 watts configurable also, which is available. And all the speakers covers up to like 150-degree listening area. So where we use ultra broad disruption. So that gives you a wider range of coverage. And it also comes with the subwoofer, which means if you wanted, you can add the subwoofer also. Actually, we can talk. So where I can have the better experience of the garden area as well. So that is also very much possible, where you can add the more base to your like a party area of outdoor or something. You can actually have the mode. So we'll just see the mushroom on the top. So where the entire subwoofer goes onto the basic, right? So. And the next thing is some of the unique speakers, like the in-ceiling rotate speaker, what we call it as. Why it is actually a rotating speaker? Maybe if I have the Atmos on top, so most of your Atmos, they'll say if it is a in-ceiling, it should be mounted above your listening area. But in some cases, if I have the listening area which is actually pillar covered, so I was not able to run it. So then the next thing is you can place it in the front, but you can focus it. It is actually your woofer is 180-degree rotatable, and your Twitter, and also it actually have the laser beam also. So I can just turn the laser beam on, just put the battery, turn it on my laser beam. I can adjust it to the central position where it can actually focus into. So this will give you like the best like even if I put the Atmos in front, I can actually tune the speaker mainly to focus on the listening area. So that will give you a great experience on that. And this one we call it as a great listening speaker, the audio pile speaker we say it as. When you see from outside, you will just see a 4-inch woofer on the out, but the entire beast, which means the entire woofer, entire Twitter, entire configuration, which is happening on the back, which means a big box will be going on the above the ceiling, or sorry, false ceiling, and you'll have just 4-inch visible on the outside, and you can remove and service clean everything from the outdoor itself. And again, it gives you like so better coverage of same UBD technology what is available in our garden array series. So we are using here as well. So just a 4-inch out, just see the difference of how the listening difference from what you will actually get it from the speakers. So that is what the main series of the designer series. And even this, some of the people use it for the Dolby Atmos as well. So where they wanted to have the big performance and everything happens. And so that's how it normally works on. And if I just wanted to have just a woofer on my top, I can do only the woofer version as well. So where it goes in, so it'll just have the bass coming out from the speaker as well. So we have the dedicated speaker, or also only the woofer you wanted to put in ceiling as a designer series. We do have the woofer version as well. Right. So this is designer series speaker. It's just the speaker which goes entire thing into your false ceiling, but on the outer you will just see a 4-inch out. Right. So that will give you ultra broad disruption of the audio. And it was actually one of the unique product what we have designed it, and it got some of the awards as well for the sound performance what it can actually do. Right. And that actually concludes most of the speaker solutions what we have from the Triad series. And to give you just like some of the design references, like maybe if I want to design a bronze home theater, so which is of 7.2.4 channel, like maybe LCR options, and then of course 4 surrounds, and then subwoofers, and then satellite speakers for my theater. And definitely after that you need to consider the AV receivers. Technically we don't have the AV receiver any from Control 4, so you can use the standard receivers available around like Marantz, Denon, or maybe like Macintosh or any of the products which is available out. Right, so a gold example of 7.2.4, like 3 gold on LCRs, and then 4 surrounds, and then 2 subwoofers, and then Omni series for the Atmos experience. Maybe just a 2-channel, 2.1 channel. So I'll just can put a Triad 1 speaker with the controller or other things, and just a 2.2 channel of micro soundbar, and then in-room Omni sub. So it can give you full option. Maybe if I want to do only the audio designing, which means a 2.2 channel or 2.1 channel of audio design, I can actually give a AV receiver with a 2 gold mini monitor and a bronze, or maybe a Triad 1 streaming amplifier. Maybe a multi-room design. So what I can actually do is like a controller, and then definitely a audio metric switch, and then audio power amplifier, and then a distributed audio speakers. Okay, so this will comprise your entire audio solutions. Right, so that's actually about entire Triad. So why Triad? So we are in the field for quite some time, so we have the entire range, and right now all the Triad speakers available for all the Control 4 dealers, where give the audio performance, custom design, custom veneer matching finishes, So mainly on the pro audio side. So that's what it's all about. Right. So that actually concludes our session. So Suman, you want to talk about something?
Yeah, Mutamal, you do the demo and start doing the demo in terms of the connectivity of my home. And in the meantime, I can take questions from the people. We have announced it in the chat. So, any questions, please do send it on the chat. I'll be happy to answer. We're just showcasing on the experience what we are going to see on how it's getting connected. At this point of time, this is my home, which is getting connected on the screen. So,
Yeah, so I'm sitting in my home, so and I'm just trying to connect Suman, access Suman home and stealing some data. Right. So today's session is mainly on the watch and listen experience. So I'll just use right. Okay. So I'm just connecting into my watch screen. So a few experience. Before I talk about the Suman, you are seeing my mobile, right?
yeah, yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, right. So when it comes to control for programming environment, it's actually like a more kind of connection side. So the UI and everything, it is not custom designed. It makes the best UI by itself. So I'm really not gonna. So we don't have the UI customization option. So the main reason is we wanted to be. We cannot expect all the dealers has to be pro and the system integrators to be pro. So where they'll go and configure each and everything by themselves. So we wanted to
So
give the.
the ideology
Yeah.
how this control flow started is like we want it to be very easy to program. What we believe in is anybody who is from the ITI or a diploma background can do programming by himself. So how do we achieve this? Is like we don't have any UI programming or anything. The moment you add a driver, we will get the UI on top of it back to you so that it will auto populate and it will be like customizable to some extent, which we are showcasing at this point of time. Please look at it. And if you have any questions, do ask for the same thing in the chat or you can ask in a while. Go ahead, Mutamal.
Right. So Suman Swami is actually connected with like Tata Sky as one of the shows and Roku and also PlayStation and Amazon Fire TV sticks and other things, right? So on the Tata Sky, this Tata Sky driver is like an IP control driver. And on the channels, right? So most of the times I wanted to have some favorite channels. We have a favorite channels in multiple options. One is like via EPG, or you can add your own channel list as well. So EPG will actually give you a best experience, which means what is the best experiences? It'll give you all the channels, like maybe HD channels, Hindi channels, all the categories, right? So this is actually driver developed by my guy, one of the driver developer in India, basically. So where you can actually have the entire channel list can get populated and
The channel is also going to showcase what is the present content which is running. For example, if you really look at it, there is staplers, there is some V's, and it is going to showcase what is the content
so for
synopsis.
example, so there are some favorites. I'm just selected one thing called Sun TV. So this give you what is right now running in. And also this will actually give you the forecast as well. So what is the program it's gonna actually come in and everything will be actually seen it from here. And this is actually pulling up, I'm connected to someone's home remotely. And all this content's actually remote accessible. So if I say news, and this will show you what is the news it's gonna show in, what is the next program. So all those things are pretty much possible, and I can favorite to this as well. And so what is the next thing I can actually do is I can add them to my home screen itself. So like I can see Sun TV, which is showing in my home screen itself. Or if I don't want this, I can actually press and hold. I can delete it also if I really don't wanted some channels. And that's actually the full integration. It is not only about integrating only with Tata Sky with the EPG. You can integrate even the basic IR devices also with the EPG. Just few of the tweaks which need to be done, and just
With
it's just
respect to
from
the
the third-party driver.
with respect to the programming guide, it's a service. This can integrate with Tata Sky, Apple, Airtel, as well as Videocon. Any services for the matter of set-top box what you're using in the company in the here today. Mostly, like we integrate with 10 companies like Hathway, City Cable, and local set-top boxes also with respect to APG. With respect to IP drivers, we have written IP drivers through third party for Tata Sky and Jio TV services at this point of time. And we are trying to explore the opportunity to write an IP driver for Airtel in a short while.
Right. And the next thing is like on the Roku or maybe Fire TV sticks, these devices are actually the mini app player devices, right? So for example, if I have the Fire Stick, I can do Prime Video, Netflix, YouTube, and all those mini drivers can be shown in my main UI itself, like Amazon Prime Video or Netflix. I can again just press and hold. I can make it into my home screen, and I'll press and hold is very simple. So I'll just press and hold the channels. I think right now I'm playing Netflix in someone's home. They're gonna kill me, right? So I can press and hold, and I can delete it or re-edit. All those things are pretty much possible from my watch screen itself.
You play Netflix, Madhavan. The moment you click on the Netflix, the beauty of the system is like what we do is it will take you directly to Amazon Fire TV and take you directly into Netflix. This is called a mini app solution, what we offer. For example, you have Amazon Fire TV where you have Hotstar, Sunnext, Netflix, all these applications. We can create a mini driver by click of a single click of this icon. It will directly take you to Netflix. If you want Sunnext, it will take you to Sunnext. If you want Hotstar, it's going to take you to Hotstar. This feature is available with Amazon Fire TV. This feature is available with Roku. All these devices are completely IP controlled. We don't have this feature in Apple TV at this point of time, which Apple has restricted for now, but otherwise we have it on the streaming services like Roku and Fire TV. In order to increase this enhancement, if you have an Android TV, we have this mini driver features because almost all the Android TVs like Samsung, LG, Sony, we control over IP based today. If you really look at my drivers.control4.com, you'll be able to find out all the IP drivers available for all these devices. All the Samsung TVs or the LG or Sony TVs do support mini drivers. For example, you have installed Android in Samsung, and the Android there's an app of Prime, so we can add this mini drivers in order to customization. So you don't need to turn on Samsung TV and then manually go for Prime. Rather, we directly turn on the Samsung TV, take you to Prime now, or that is Hotstar. So that's the feature set what we offer.
Yeah, so if you have a multi-room video solutions, adding other rooms are pretty much simple. I'll just go to sessions and I'll add multiple rooms if I have it, and I can play. And definitely I'm not going to disturb others now, right? And I can control the volume individually, and all those things are pretty much possible. And that's on my watch side, and we can integrate with almost anything on the watch side. On the listen, so as we told you, one of the great features is like Fire AirPlay on from Control 4, so I can directly play. So this is just if you have the Apple devices in the home, they can just cast it. You just the driver it is added, it does playing directly from the controller. And other than that, so if I have the My Music, so definitely I don't think so I'll be having something. You can play from the NAS and other things, or maybe tune in, you can play it. Spotify, you can directly play from the controller itself. And someone is actually connected, having the US Tidal account also, where it can actually gonna play in Tidal Masters and other things and all.
You can search for it.
It says as a Tidal Masters. And I can play in these all things will be playing in actually maybe if I say play now, it's gonna play now, and it's playing in CD quality. What is the quality? If I select that quality, it says what is the compression rate, what is actually playing in. It's actually 16-bit at 44 kilohertz, and I can actually favorite these albums. Maybe if I have the title master, I want to select it and say favorite to do room. So I can just I can actually see it from my home screen itself. So this will have the new arrivals title master. And if I just select it, it's gonna play. So it's as easy as that. So, and the next thing particularly to, yeah, so adding room is also more simple. So I'll just say add rooms. It'll show all my rooms. I can add and play it. And the other thing I want to show here is like particularly to our region. So we are very much curious about integrating this online FM stations and other things. We have Indian FM radio. This is again a local driver, which means written by our third party guy. So if I wanted something to be played, I can just go in and I can play any of the stations which is actually integrated with the driver. But with this driver, is the only thing needed is it's the URL should be from online. So it's actually online radio, not using the controller, the antenna and other things. Right. And the next thing which is available is like music services, which is again like maybe I want to play some new musics and other things. Actually, you can stream it and you can play it. This is again from a third-party driver developer.
Basically, what we are just trying to say is we can support streaming of any FM station of any Indian language, let it be Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, Oriya, whatever, Bengali, all the language FM streaming will be supported. This is the driver what we have built it to showcase the feature of Control 4 music streaming. We are also writing parallelly a couple of drivers from the third-party driver development team where we could integrate the leading music services offered in India at this point of time. If you do have any suggestions, you can always write to us. We will also be happy to integrate those FM tuning stations into our platform. By this means, what we are trying to achieve is any data, any audio information can be streamed using Control 4, provided if you have the rights for it.
Yeah. So the album art and the informations, all these things, you really don't have to work on the UI by yourself. It's actually auto built by itself. So you just scan the album and it's gonna pull it up. That's all it's about actually, right? And other than that, on the for example, I just want to show you another thing, which is maybe if I have a Tata Sky, I'm just going into Tata Sky, and we do something called gesture pad, so where you can navigate it around like left swipe, right swipe, and other things on the, if I can go into menu. So all these things are pretty much possible from the gesture pad itself, but the basic control also still will remain the same. So you can do it, that control as well, pretty much possible. And that's about it. So on the watch and listen experience, and other than that, I think last session we are talking about the lighting, so where you can have the light control or where you can actually create your own scene by yourself. You can restrict that scene creation also by yourself. Only thing is you just add the devices, create everything from the user interface itself, and that give you more flexibility on the UI. Right. So anything else you want to show, Suman?
Predominantly, we have covered here. Can you just shift to bedroom UI, Buthavan, to change the room from get to bedrooms? Yeah. Hub. So this is like what we are saying is the UI where you can actually do the water heater.
Yeah.
So it's a completely feedback based UI. It's a two-way communication. So it's like right now it's on, and if you turn on the night lamp, and it's turned off. You can do it the same thing with the light. Based on the UI, you will completely understand what's happening within the observation. Yeah. The other point, what you're saying is we don't need to do any custom UI development for any kind of phone. So it's automatic if you have Apple or if you have 10 inches, 7 inches, 6 inches, or you have any point of TV, the UI is auto-populated and there is no additional programming required for any UI development at this point of time. And apart from this, we also wanted to go back to my master theater room. I also just scroll down. I also wanted to show, for example, if you really look at it, there is a music. You can shortlist your playlist. You can search your playlist in the home screen itself. Theater, scroll down. There's a playlist. Yeah. If you really look at it, retro gold. If I press it, automatically it's going to play and the same song is going to be played on my speakers. Just go back, Mutam. Back. Click on that retro. It's already playing. So if you scroll up from the mobile, you'll see what is it playing, what is the volume. You have the complete controls. If you scroll further up, it is going to show you the complete sequence of audio and the playlist. So what we are trying to explain is you can select playlist and favorite it to any screen. So you don't need to really go to Tidal, search, all these things. If you have a playlist, we can bring it up, populate it, and leave it on your screen. So that's the other benefit. And the same way, can you go to listen, Mutaman? It's not only for Tidal, it's for just scroll down. I usually test all the available services, and you can do Deezer.
Amazon Music only international versions.
Yeah. So the Amazon Music US, you will be having it. And what I wanted to showcase is there is a setup. Just go to listen. If you really look at it, a customer can himself do it. We don't need to do any programming at this point of time. Just scroll down completely. This is the music setup. If you have any services, the customer can get it to add it by himself. So you don't need to do any much changes here. So it's a completely customized UI. This is what we are showcasing in terms of watch and listen. Thank you. Uthaman, you have changed to WhatsApp. Yeah. So this is what we wanted to show under watch and listen category. I think if you have any questions, you can go ahead and shoot right now, and we're happy to answer it.
Right. So this actually concludes our watch and listen session. Right. So apart from audio, video,
That's Muthaman.
no, somebody is.
Hello. Can you please pass on the earlier sessions which you have mentioned that we have already recorded each and every sessions?
Yeah, I can do that. So you can just mail your email on the chat. So my guy will send you the entire session.
Okay, thank you very much.
Somebody
you can
want
unmute
to
yourself and ask for questions. We have unmuted. You can unmute yourself and ask you.
So somebody asking to show comfort and other screens. Right. Some of the other things actually I can show you, like you can add your own custom buttons also, or you can make your custom icons also. That is also a pretty much simple option. Comfort. So there is a AC driver where it will give you a feedback. So like I can control it to on. I can control it to my temperature. Right now it shows
Change it
in
to Fahrenheit Celsius.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
You can change it to Celsius.
So with respect to AC, what we offer is the complete control wherein you can see what is happening. What we have integrated is a Sensibo device. It's going to give me what is my local temperature in the room, which is at the 28 degrees Celsius, and it's giving you what is the humidity, which is at 58%. All these complete features can be integrated. As we can also do the complete schedule of the ACs using the schedule option, where you can say Monday I want the ACs to turn on, turn off, everything. In terms of extra, there is an option called set swing. Usually, this IR-based fan speed controllers will not be enabling you to set swing modes, but what we do achieve is we can completely set all the swing options using the swing controls on the extras. So that is on the AC integration part of it, and we can integrate any sensors as such as well.
For this AC integration parts, it's only supports for Coolmaster, or which brands you preferred for two-way feedback communications? It's that set
Right
swing and
now, we support it. Yeah, right now we support Sensibo and Coolmaster for IP integration. We also have written drivers for IR information, where we have a driver database today, which is worth of 250 ACs models, which directly start using it. But we will share you a Dropbox link, and you can use those ACs. Most of the ACs are supported using the IR commands as well as the things. In some ACs, what we have went ahead and gone and done the swing options also. So if you have the swing commands, the complete using IR AC controls, you can do swing options as well. We have a generic AC driver which supports all the functionality, but provided if you have the IR towards it, you can just add it and start controlling completely.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to add in something?
If we want to control IR command, detailed of the each and every step of air swing quality, means some of the IR remotes what they operates at 16-degree temperature, they have 3 variations or more than 4 variations in fan speeds. So that can also be possible in your IR library, which you have means. You please show right now. You have opened your mobile phone.
That's what we showed is the set swing option at this point of time. 8 controls of set swings are all possible there.
That part you are doing from IR, na? Right now. You have shown me that.
Right now,
IR, we can do it from IT, depends on the AC.
This is actually Sensible 1.
Yep. Okay.
But we can do it for the IR version as well.
we can also do, and same GUI will be applicable if we will go in
Yeah,
IR.
it'll be showing as a same UI. And in IR, what we have done is we have written a standard driver with certain set points, but you can run for all the set points as well, and also the swing options and other things as well.
We have got the basic level of integration. Additional integration you can do it yourself. That's what we're saying, because like we have captured the codes for all the AC, temperature, everything. The swing modes are also there. Some extra features you wanted, you can always customize it yourself with the AC drivers what we give you. For that matter, any AC can be integrated using IR as well. Apart from this Coolmaster IR, we also offer you integration with Intersys. We also offer you integration with Field Server for the backnet and Modbus. All the services integrated separately if you know that.
For KNX also.
Yeah. We can integrate fire alarm and intrusion panel as well. There is no limitation. Is there any other questions? Can you show the camera thing, Mutamil? I think
I have.
you can also show the block integration and the history agent.
I'm Maulik here. Can I ask you, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, many times what happens in the AC section, which are IR controllable. So if you control with the IR and selected is display as a Celsius, not the Fahrenheit, but still when we restart the app or something using after 2-3 days, automatically comes to the Fahrenheit also only. So what is the solution for that?
We have fixed it. We have this driver thing. What we have fixed it right now. I think you should be able to get it from us in a short
while. Okay, then just tell. Yeah.
By the way, Mutamil, okay, one more point I want to address here. Why? What is this? The piece here is like we actually integrate with any cameras. If you really look at the screen, there's one is control for camera, one is package, one is Luma, one is Equivision, and Leyland. So we just want to showcase seamlessly work with any camera integration at this point of time. So Mutamil, the other point I want to showcase here is like the security and the access agent. You can show the history in terms of locks. I think it's.
Is there any limitations of adding camera? How many cameras means for as a controller limited for mini, master, and major, something like that, or any controllers can you can integrate whatever the cameras? How many?
I think we can do 64 cameras seamlessly at this point of time.
64 cameras. Okay. And the resolution limitations, bandwidth limitations, we have to restrict for the controller is it's only supports.
We're not showcasing the full 4K or HD and all. We do
1080p. It's 1080p. That is what the resolution. Yeah.
Okay, 1080p. Okay.
Yeah, so we can also integrate with any A-lock at this point of time. Today, we can integrate through Zigbee, we can integrate through IP or RS-232 at this point of time, the complete A-lock with all the features like, for example, you want to add a user from anywhere in the world, you can add a user from, I think it's check in the master act mode. You can add a user anywhere in the world. You'll be able to add it in allow programming so that a user can access your home. You can also see who opened what opened, every detail in terms of lock. That's the lock integration we offer at this point of time. There is the issue.
Yep.
I think your screen is blocked. Are you not able to find my lock?
Yeah. Where is your lock is?
Click on the bedroom.
Bedroom. Security. Okay.
I think there's some issue. Okay, I will get it and let me populate it. Okay, we'll showcase that's a lock in the next training where we are doing the security and stuff like that. Yeah. Do Control 4 have experience zone solution plaza? So we do have some dealers who offers demos, but we don't have any solution plaza as such. Any other questions?
Hi, Maulik here. So, yeah, you had just about the all integration, and we can create the user and all. So, is there any limitation for that we can create the user in Zigbee only, or serial only, or IP only, or all of three?
There
We
is
can
no limitation. We can create it on Zigbee. We can do it on RS-232 also.
So for Zigbee, we have to use a real living driver, right?
We have a chip what we have made through Yale. If you ask the Yale guys, they can also provide you, and we will tell you what is to be used.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. And any lock for that matter, 4109 or whatever the YRD40 or whatever the locks you have, all these locks can be integrated seamlessly with us. And it's a two-way integration. So you can operate it from anywhere in the world. That's what the features what we give. So any other questions? You can search the locks in the status itself there. It's there in the data. I don't see your casting screen at this point.
Yeah, I think it's.
I hope all the questions are done.
Yamaha amp plays. Yes, it plays MQA quality. Not all, some.
It depends on the amp. Please check with the amp manufacturer. So yeah.
Your theater,
Data, locks.
security, locks and sensors. Yes. And this does open close. And if I go in deeper, it will give you manage locks.
And you can see the history. You can do settings, add users. Anything can be done using this feature. At this point of time, in my home, I've integrated the August lock.
Yeah, yeah. Which driver this is this? Which driver?
This is the Yale driver, yeah.
Yeah, Air driver, but real living. This is version
Yale,
3, right?
Yeah.
This is August lock, is it?
This is August lock. This is part of Yale again.
Yeah.
Any KNX gateway, I think someone is asking about KNX gateway. Any KNX gateway can be integrated with Control 4.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Thermostat, lights, the entire thing, sensors, not sensors, I suppose.
So should we call it off? Any other questions before?
Any KNX gateway.
Any brand of KNX, Panasonic, ABB, whatever you want, you can be integrated with Control 4. E-key, we have a specific driver. It can be completely integrated with E-key. We also have a custom module. You can put it on a door station of Control 4 also. So complete E-key integration is possible with us.
So hi team, this is Anup here. I have one question regarding Tried Speaker. So I do understand that you have acquired this company, but do they were having presence in India before acquisition, or it's first time launch in India?
Rajesh
Yes,
Rivera has been
Wipro International was dealing it.
Sorry?
Rajesh from Rivera was distributing this product for last 7 years before we acquiring it.
Okay.
So this is before launching this product in India. Any KNX IP interface and IP router is possible to be integrated, Harsha.
Okay, thank you everyone. Is Triad speaker installed in India? Any Cineplex? Cineplex? I don't think so.
What?
Cineplex.
Oh.
Cine theaters, we have not done it, but we have done still cinema reference for a home itself. And which product we can use as a dose sensor? We have a product which is of NICE, which is Zigbee NICE sensors. We can integrate it. or maybe any third party like from Securico or Honeywell or any of these things with the dry contact can be connected to controller contact ports.
Okay, so I think we would be good, and we'll share you the presentations. And
Thank you.